Well, I'm sitting on the creek. No service to speak of. I got 2 bars, but nothing works. So we're going to make a video instead. And today we're going to be fishing with Frank. Now, I'm not sure where all today's going to go. For me or for the world, because it's quite obviously gone insane. A lot of people agree with that. The world doesn't. And that's your issue, not mine. I'll just do like I always do, and I'll pray for you. I don't have any of my books. I don't have anything with me. So today, of course I usually don't, but today is just about me and the water and the Creator that gave it to me and His Son that promised me something better after all of this. You know, I'm talking with somebody this morning, or a friend of mine this morning. I'm not really talking, but exchanged a couple of messages. And one of the things she said that I really appreciate is the Bible was never supposed to be complicated, but it wasn't supposed to be easy either. Christ Himself said that. You choose to follow Him, it's not going to be easy. You're going to be attacked. You're going to be everything. I accepted that a long time ago. But when I tried to talk about what I thought at the time was proper, I actually had atheists telling me, dude, you don't understand shit. And I didn't. My basket's getting hung up. I've already got one fish in. The joys of jigging for crappie, especially out of a kayak. Not a lot of room to play with, but I love it anyway. And before much longer, I'm going to abandon this spot for another. And while I'm paddling, we'll just talk. This morning, I plan on paddling pretty good ways up creek. Haven't been real far up yet, but I've caught more further up than I have by the bridge. But I do catch one or two here and there, so I figured I'd start here. Again, I listen to the interviews with this person and that person, and they go to justifying all these things in the name of God, religion, all of this. And I always hear, well, Christ justified it. He said, he confirmed the scriptures. Therefore, what was taking place was proper. But he told them, you don't even serve the God of Abraham. How long had they not served the God of Abraham? That's the question I have to ask myself all the time. Because I hear all the talk about Moses and King David and all these other people that did squander what was given to them. Not personally, but at the hands of their own people. Yes, his own people brought their demise on themselves. Why? Because more wasn't enough. They didn't have it all. And that's all I see taking place anymore, is more is not enough. We want it all. And I'm sorry, but I just can't accept that as proper. I would like to. That way I could feel just as happy as the rest of them. But I can't make myself, because I know it's not proper. And you know, I'd like to thank Richard Jean for teaching me a lot of various methods on catching crappie, because they've all served me very well. But my personal favorite is just a straight vertical jig. And so I hit brush piles and all kinds of stuff on creeks and lakes and everywhere else I can. because that's just my personal favorite. I like to fish with my finger on the string and wait for the thump. And I look at life that same way. I just keep my finger on the string and I just wait for the thump. Because eventually it's gonna come. We're told it will, if we listen. We're not promised an easy life. I don't know why so many Christians are so hell-bent on saying, well, it says he'll lead me beside still waters. That means I'm going to have a good life, and I'm going to have this, and I'm going to have that, and but he said, if these are the things you seek, then you've already found everything you're going to have. I thought that was a bump a while ago. My jig got pulled down a little. There's another fella does a tack ring talk, and I enjoy listening to him too, because he puts it like it is. He doesn't sugarcoat it like all these other preachers at your churches do. We're told repeatedly in the Bible, this life is going to be a struggle. I've always accepted the struggle. Pretty herring coming in. But I've always accepted the trouble, even though I didn't want it. Never knew exactly how bad it would get, but here we are. And yes, Anna Kasparian, thank you, because today is a better day than tomorrow. Your grandmother was a wise woman. I do stay disgusted a lot. Just straight up disgusted. And I do what I can to hide that disgust. issue with vertical jigging. You tend to find the brush piles. Ooh, and that one was a big one. Bubbles moved everywhere. It looks like somebody may have a jug line out with something hanging on it. I don't know yet. But I've always accepted slings and arrows, and boy, they broke my heart a lot of times because, well, I didn't feel I deserved them. A lot of times I did, I just didn't understand why I deserved them. I hung somebody else's line that apparently broke off. But I ended up with another jig out of the deal, so we ain't gonna complain much, right? Sorry for all the dead time. But I listened to the interviews, I listened to the chattering everywhere, and all I hear is a bunch of children that just want to complain. And yeah, that's all I'm doing is complaining. But I'm complaining because none of you are really willing to look at what's going on. All you want to do is say, well, this is what's making my life hard, is you got these people doing this, or you got those people doing that. but you're really not willing to look at what is allowing it. And you say, oh, well, this side of the government wants to stop it from happening, but the other side wants to keep letting it happen. And, well, while that's what they say, you can watch both sides, and both sides make the exact same moves, just in different sequence. And that's what truly bothers me, is that people aren't willing to look at the absolute truth of what is driving all the insanity in this nation. You have so many commentators like Jesse on Fire and Candace Owens and Tucker and all these people that, well, they're so close it's unreal at times. But they refuse to go all the way. Candace is getting closer. I'll give her that much. She's making a lot of comments that are drawing a lot of attention. And I appreciate that. But she still won't just come out and say, well, she has, but not in so much direct terms, that we don't control our government. We don't select our government. To an extent, we have a say. But all we really have a say in is who we put up there. Because once they get up there, we see what they do. Everything that someone else tells them to do. Yes, even Donald Trump is controlled. As many of you don't like to hear me say that, well, I really don't care what you like to hear, because I speak honestly, I speak openly, and I really just don't care that you don't like what I say. And Nate, big dog, whatever, man. Are you just using the tactics you learned at Huachuca to further enhance the whatever we've got going on. The pure insanity of this side versus that side, because I hear you talk a lot about how this side's doing that, how that side's doing that, how this group is doing this, how that group is doing this. But you're afraid to follow the actual source, or you're afraid to call it out, one or the other. I'm not sure which, but it's bothersome, brother. And yes, I call you brother because I am a veteran myself. No, I'm not Special Forces. Never claimed to be Special Forces. Never claimed to be Spec Ops. I was a wrecker operator. I was a mechanic. Was an extra gun a few times. I worked at the DIF. I saw how things were done there. I tried my hand at a lot of things that I could while I was there. And no, I wasn't in Afghanistan. I was in Iraq. So no, I don't know what y'all did in the mountains, but I do know what was done in the cities. And when you have companies like BlackRock paying Islamic leaders for their own security, or for their own safety rather, because typically they had their own security. But when they're paying for their own safety the whole time, watching our safety be the least of their concerns, well, that tells me what the government really thinks. And that boiled down to the entirety of the government. Sure, there's people within that don't like what's going on, but they are few and far between. And, well, they don't have control. They just have a voice. I'll go ahead and stop this one at 30. I love you guys. I just want us all to do better because we're not doing right. I love you. Have a great day.